Arsenal has drawn with Como 1-1 at the Emirates. In penalties, Arsenal have gone ahead to win, I think, 4-3 in there for you at the Emirates. Last pre-season game for the club of Arsenal, and all eyes are set onto the Sunday game where they're obviously going to be playing against a team known as Man City. Man City last played against Atletico Madrid last weekend on the 9th, and they are going to be resting for the next 7 days. They are not obviously going to be getting into inactivity that will maybe cause problems to them, injuries and so on and so forth. They are all set for the game of Arsenal. And Mikel Arteta has obviously gone ahead to be a very good man. And guess what he has gone ahead to do? Arteta has come up and obviously gone ahead to obviously solve the problem. And what has he gone ahead to do? You can talk about the minutes. He has gone ahead to give every player. Oh, guys, I just gonna hit obviously start there immediately. You understand? But I know most of you are really happy and you are really alive. I'll try to obviously do a live stream, but my streaming software couldn't obviously enable me do that in there for you. But before we go any further, I just want to let you know that we are powered by Trade Store. You know, this is the Trade Store, and they deal in shoes. You understand? So the link is in the description box below of Trade Store, and go ahead and obviously find yourself in a position where you can obviously go into the description box below, follow that link, get to the website, and obviously buy those shoes. They really have them in different colors, and if at all you feel like you love the shoe, just go to the Trade Stores and obviously do the needful. So we are powered by Trade Store. This video of Arsenal 1, Como 1 is powered by Trade Store, right? Now, Mikel Arteta understood the assignment. How? He went ahead to obviously bring on players, and he knew exactly what they're obviously going to be doing and the minutes they're supposed to be playing. For example, Bruno Guimaraes, who really looked good, played only 45 minutes, and he came on in the 46th minute. You understand? That is how he really went ahead to obviously say he has not been really doing the needful, and I need to obviously come out and really not play him a lot. Now, Martin Odegaard also came in through and obviously gave us some good minutes in there for you. I really want to let you know the minutes these players have gone ahead to play in here. And, well, today, can we go to yesterday and see? Friendlies. Where are these friendlies? Because I really want to tell you exactly what Arteta went ahead to do in preparation for the game of Man City. As he was playing today, all he was thinking about was the game of Manchester City because of the minutes he gave these players. The starting 11, Jesus, not important. Martinelli is not going to start on Sunday. Nwaneri won't start on Sunday. Max Doman maybe, but I think Noni Madueke will come in through and obviously take center stage. Miles Lewis Kelly might start. Ebelechi Eze, starting. You know, Hincapi, I don't think won't start. Magales will start. Salomon won't start. Juliane won't start. Now, these other players that he really went ahead through to obviously bringing through, let me tell you the minutes they played. Now, Victor Gyökeres came in through in the 32nd minute. Jesus went off and Gyökeres came in through. And Victor Gyökeres also never played the entire 90 minutes because in the 61st minute, after playing like 30 minutes, he was taken off and Kai Havertz came on, meaning that he was trying to manage his minutes, as on the weekend, he played very many minutes. You know that very well, like past the hour mark. That's how long he was on the field of play. So the manager was like, I need to see him put in only 30 because he has been with us for the vast majority of the preseason, and so we cannot obviously throw him in to play all those minutes. Now, after Gyökeres, you know, he played 30 minutes. Then Kai Havertz played 30 minutes. Noni Madueke played 30. Carafiori played 30. Remember, he played the lion's share of the minutes of the game against Dortmund in there for you. Then you saw to it that Miles Lewis Kelly played 61 minutes, right? Ben White played 30 minutes. Raya played 45 minutes. Mosquera played 45. Odegaard played 45. Bruno Guimaraes played 45. So you saw how he went ahead to manage the minutes of these players. Ebelechi Eze went ahead to play 30. You understand? So when you are to look at the starting 11 for the side of the manager of Arsenal, he has gone ahead to obviously not overuse them in these games. And it's like, you will have a job to do against Man City over the weekend. You understand? So that is one of the things I went ahead to obviously notice in this game. Secondly, I noticed that he might have gone ahead to start Jesus, Martinelli, and Miles Lewis Kelly to obviously play their last game at the Emirates, and obviously see to it that they obviously maybe are seen by the fans for the last time. Because Jesus, he has agreed a deal with Napoli. The problem is Napoli has not gone ahead to come in through to meet the asking price from the club of Arsenal. You understand? Arsenal wants 20 million euros. I think Napoli don't want to pay that much. Martinelli, a bid from Galatasaray is going to be put on the table. 45 million euros is the bid that is going to arrive onto the table of Arsenal. You understand? So these players are leaving, and this is the last time you'll see them. I think by the end of this week, you might see these players leave the side of Emirates in there for you, because Miles Lewis Kelly, Arsenal look like they want to move him on. Same applies to Jesus. If they get in like 20 million euros, 50 for Martinelli, that is 70. And if I know they get in 50 for Miles Lewis Kelly 60, that is like 110 million euros from these two players. And they can use that amount of money to obviously get in players that they really want, especially as a left forward and another multifunctional player who can play in different positions in there for you. So that is the other thing I saw in this game of football. But the point to discuss on a lot is Bruno Guimaraes, right? Bruno Guimaraes came in through, and when he came on, he first played 15 minutes with a player known as Miles Lewis Kelly. Lewis Kelly was playing as the sitting midfielder, as the first pivot, and the second pivot was Bruno Guimaraes playing the box-to-box role, and he really looked very well in there for you. Then later, they took off Miles Lewis Kelly after 15 minutes playing with or partnering with Bruno Guimaraes. Who did they bring on? They brought on a guy called what's his name? Mikel Merino. You understand? Mikel Merino and Bruno Guimaraes shared the role in there for you, and Odegaard was playing ahead of them. Odegaard looked well with Bruno Guimaraes on the pitch, and I just can't wait to see how these two will obviously jelly up when they are obviously playing with Declan Rice and Bruno Guimaraes in the double pivot and Odegaard playing ahead of them. I just can't wait to see that. But Zolis also came on, and you saw to it that he was really bringing the energy, tracking back in there. Ricardo Carafiori was lively. You know, his body language was better than that he put out when they're playing against the team known as Borussia Dortmund. Then we also went ahead to see, is it called Jelin? Let me get his name right. This right back for the club of Arsenal, right? Julien, for me, he was my man of the match, I tell you. He looked really good. And I came up to pose a question to you guys. When you're having Salmon and Julien, with a team that really has the other defenders that are really very good and defensive midfield, adding on Guimaraes onto Declan Rice, why do you go in for right back? Why don't you develop Salmon or Julien? You get those two. They can obviously come and really look good. It's not that you're going to bring them on in big games. Like game against Coventry, get Salmon, play him as a right back as Timber really tries to come in, or play Ben White for 60 minutes and get in this young boy to obviously coming through and start playing. I think he is a special right back, and the way he flies onto that right touchline, very magnificent. I would love to see him again. I tell you, I would love to see him again. He really looked very well onto the field of play. So for me, he was my biggest highlight That is it. Apart from Bruno Guimaraes, he was my biggest highlight in there for you. But big saves by David Raya, and he was ready for the moment. Saka, Julian Timber, Declan Rice, Martin Zubimendi, not in the Arsenal squad today. But I think the manager will obviously give us a further explanation as to why these players were not part of the squad of Arsenal. But for Julian Timber, he's recovering from injury. Declan Rice, Zubimendi, and Saka, I think it's the workload. But over the weekend, I think they'll be part of the team that will be traveling to Wembley to see to it that they make a statement. That game of Man City is very important to Mikel Arteta. He needs to make a statement that Pep Guardiola is going to hate to leave the side of Arsenal, the side of the Premier League. I'm the reigning champion of the Premier League, and I'm here to make a statement that I'm here to stay. I'm going to turn into the Pep. And when you look at all of those, he's the manager that has long lived on a team for very many seasons. Coming in through in 2019, I think 20th December, right? Meaning that this year, he'll be spending 7 years onto the team. When you look at Liverpool, they have a new manager. United has a new manager. Chelsea has a new manager in Alonso. Man City has a new manager, Spurs has a new manager. Newcastle has a new manager. Aston Villa, I think for him, Unai Emery has been there for some years in there for you. Then which other manager is going to hate to long live in here for you? So I tell you, looks like Arteta is the longest serving manager on the team amongst all those that are really playing in there for you. The league is starting with 9 new managers coming in through to be on different teams that are not managing the previous season. So what does that really let him know? That he needs to impose himself onto them and really send a message that I'm Mikel Arteta, I'm the guy that will obviously come in through and do the needful to you and really beat you up. Now, when you look at Bruno Guimaraes, he played 45 minutes in there for you, and he had 0 goals, 0 shots, and 1 penalty goal taken. When we go to passes, Bruno Guimaraes had no assist. He had no key pass, but accurate passes, had 23 accurate passes out of the 26 that he really played, 88% passing accuracy, really good. Passes in the opposition half, 17 out of 20 in there for you. Out of the 26, out of the 26 passes that he made, that were really, that he really made, 20 of those were into the opposition half, and 17 of those were accurate, meaning that he put 3 off in there for you. Passes in own half, 6 out of 6 in there for you. So that was really great out of him. In his own half, he never really did a blind pass. We get to the dribbles. He had 32 touches in there. Dribbles, successful dribbles 0. Possession lost. He lost possession 6 times. I think he'll obviously need to really improve on that. Total carrying distance, 63.8 meters. Carries, had 8 carries. Total progression, 27.6 meters. That is Bruno Guimaraes for you. Then we go to the defensive activities. 3 defensive contributions. 2 out of 2 tackles won. He had 1 interception. 0 clearances. Blocked shots, 0. Recoveries, 2. Ground duels, 1. Obviously, he won. He had 4 and he won 2. Fouls, 1. And he was dribbled past 1 time. And that is his first performance in the shirt of Arsenal. So my mind tells me he will obviously do the needful in the next game. Meaning that he's really trying to put out the best of the best. So that's all about what I can come up and say about this game of football. Not much to talk about because there are very many changes. And I tell you, who caught my mind was the right back. That is it. Your reactions to this are welcome in the comment section below. Rokani David is out. Bye-bye.